What is a guardsman but meat for the grinder? That's what my training sergeant used to say as he yelled in my face. I still remember the spittle flying from his lips, the way his ugly mug would turn cherry red. Back then, I thought he was immortal. I was a pitiful excuse for a human being. My weak hands failed at everything I attempted. I tried to work as a miner, drawing ore out of the ground from each swing of a pick. Failed that too. Failed it miserably. After I didn't make quota, they kicked me out, relegating me to sort ore from slag. Couldn't do that either. My worthless brain couldn't keep pace with the belts. Hell, a brain-damaged servitor has more skill and coordination than me. My overseers, they miss nothing. They ain't anything like my sergeant. They're glorified bureaucrats, paper pushers, desk jockeys, the lot of them. After failing even that, I knew it was only a matter of time before they carted me off and lobotomized me into an unthinking half-man, half-machine. Turns out, the draft saved my life. The governor, his pompous fat ass, demanded the raising of a guard regiment. Rumour had it that he'd been short on his tithes to Terror, and this was his desperate attempt to coop his losses. If we couldn't provide a harvest of steel and ore, he'd give him a crop of fresh bodies to spend wherever the Emperor demanded it. The sergeant's booming voice pulls me from the deeper thoughts in my mind and into the present.
Right now, all you are is meat. Rotten, stinking, Emperor-forsaken meat. And I wouldn't even feed you to a carking grox.
Far down the line, Hrim makes the mistake of chuckling. Don't get me wrong, Hrim's a nice enough guy once you get to know him. But truth be told, he ain't all that bright. The sergeant walks over to him and stands eye to eye with him, all 5 feet of angry muscled mass.
Something funny, you worthless gutter shite. Let me see your rifle, boy.
There it is, the tone. I know what's coming, and so does everyone else. The sergeant never fails to find a new flaw in our weapons. And when he does, well, I watch as Hrim hands Sarge his last rifle. The sergeant looks it over, his dark eyes examining every surface.
You have a girl back home, 287.
Hrim nods slowly. We all know he does. Thing is, he'll never see her again. Service does that. Warp travel screws with time. And before we know it, everyone we love or care about will be dead and gone. The Sarge stops, his eyes catching on something. Hrim nods in his dumb little endearing way.
Yes, Sergeant,
he shouts, standing at attention. The sergeant runs a finger along the stock and rubs something between his fingers.
She's pretty, ain't she? Belle of the ball. Most beautiful thing to walk on 2 legs.
This is when he's at his most terrifying. There's no growl, no hiss. His tone is conversational, as if I'd just come across him in a bar and we were shooting the breeze.
Yes, sir. Best in the world.
The sergeant looks up and gestures to the rifle.
Look close here. What do you see?
Sarge holds it up, and like the idiot he is, Hrim bends forward to get a closer look. He pauses for a long moment and finally says,
Spot, sir?
Sarge grips the rifle, the leather gloves creaking as the anger ever simmering beneath the surface comes to the fore.
Congrats, trooper! You just looked under your girl's pretty little fracking dress and found a sump rat crawling in her skirts.
With that, he slams the butt of the weapon into Hrim's face. The poor lad falls back as blood sprays from an obviously broken nose and he falls to the ground, clutching his face.
That groc's dung won't fly with me, boy!
The Sarge rages. He violently tosses the weapon at Hrim's prone form.
Can't even touch this gutter-born, slumped slut of a lasgun!
He storms over and stands above Hrim, then delivers a vicious kick to his ribs.
You listening to me, boy?
Rem tries to reply, though his voice is muffled behind his hands. The sergeant spits on him and growls.
You take that girl, treat her nice, and clean her up, or by the golden throne, I'll make sure the next time we charge the enemy, you'll be running 10 feet ahead of the fracking Ogryns as bait!
We all stand there, silent as the grave. All of us verbally beaten lower than fresh-faced recruits brought to a frozen hell to be thrown into the grinder. Don't dare look away. We don't even breathe. If we so much as blink, we know we're next. Xenos, cultists, demons, all those scare the shit out of me. Funny thing is, I'd rather face them any day than this little terror from the depths of human hell. Sarge gestures to the two troopers and points towards Rem's prone form, still clutching his nose, blood seeping through his fingers.
Get his sorry ass up! I don't train corpses!
They don't hesitate and move over, picking Rem up by his shoulders. It ain't easy. We're standing in the cold and snow with full kit, and Rem is so out of it, he's nothing but dead weight, all 6 feet 200 plus pounds of him. The entire time Sarge is barking at us to speed up, to do better, demanding the impossible all the while. I've never seen or heard of a man who had mastered the art of swearing and insulting in the colourful way he degrades us. It's almost an art form. He seems to take perverse pleasure in our suffering, but it's small potatoes when we have to go back to the trenches. Here's the cold, hard truth. We aren't fresh, and we sure as nails aren't green. Our Sarge is a sadistic bastard. Back in the trenches, we underperformed. God Emperor, we always are found wanting in that madman's eyes. The fracking monster decided that we weren't up to snuff and dragged us to the rear guard for a dressing down. I dread to think what fresh hell he will come up with next. I know he means well. I've seen him before, shedding a tear after a particularly bad moment of getting stuck in. He was reciting something and I realised then that he was chanting names. Some I recognised, some I didn't. It was a roll call, a roster of the dead. I didn't tell no one. Didn't want to die or end up just like Rem. Sarge cares about us. He really does, and that makes his actions more bearable in the end. If being broken over and over again means I'll survive to see the next morning, I'll take his tongue lashings any day, any time. After what seems like an age of marching in step to Sarge's bellowing voice, the trenches sprawl overhead. They look every part the jagged scar in the land they appear to be. Lines carve into the ground like grasping fingers, digging into the hard frozen dirt. A frosting of snow covers every unprotected surface. The snow, this world does not know how to make it. The hive we're supposed to be defending reminds me of home. It belches out so much acrid black smoke that it fills the skies overhead. It turns the snow a filthy grey that makes the entire world muted and depressing. Then there's the smell. Blood, dirt, oil, promethium, and the unwashed scent of a million bodies crammed in trenches barely large enough to stand two abreast. However, the smell coming from no man's land is far worse. Corpses decay, but in this sub-zero hell, they freeze over instead. Somehow, despite the cold, you can still smell them. It's like a foul haze that moves slowly over the battlefield. The odour of rot is barely there, but it's still fragrant. The scent is just strong enough to singe your nose hairs and make your eyes water. At times, you can see them out there, clawed fingers grasping for help that will never come. Mouths open in eternal screams that you swear you can hear on your darker nights. Sightly eyes staring in abject pain and horror that has no relief. We march into the trenches, the walls of dirt layered with sandbags protecting our heads. Troopers stand on wooden platforms built into the sides, firing random shots into the cold air. The paths crunch underfoot, a mix of frozen ice, packed dirt and snow. Boots crunch and ice-packed mud. Somewhere down the line, someone coughs, a deep, wet sound that lingers too long. Metal rattles. Someone reloads. Someone prays.
Got it, bruh.
I hear him behind me,
That's not the box.
but I dare not look and risk breaking my stride. His voice is different. His broken nose making him sound like he has a bad cold. I hear a sneeze and I flinch. It feels so unclean. Ever since landing on this world and facing the enemy, sickness has started spreading. It's insidious, like a living thing. Starts with a runny nose and a cough, then a bad cold takes over. Soon your lungs are filled with brackish phlegm and you're coughing your organs out into the dirt. People started calling it the pox. A few days ago, a man in 1st Platoon caught the cough. We found him face down in the trench the next morning, his lips black, his breath frozen in his throat. The Medicaid torched his body before dawn. The higher-ups, they won't say what's going on. Truth is, I don't want to know. We reach our section and the sergeant bellows a halt. I feel like a puppet whose strings have been cut. Suddenly, the fear of carking up is gone, only to be replaced by utter exhaustion.
All right, you lazy lackwits, take 15. Back in my training days, we could run for weeks without stopping.
I listen wearily as he lets out a harsh laugh.
You pansies would never have made it in my guard.
When he leaves, the entire section breathes a sigh of relief. That man, small as he is, can fill a trench all by himself with ego alone. Several men doff their helmets. Some take a seat on the ground. Others magically produce glow sticks from hidden pockets or spaces in their helmets. Soon the trench is filled with the acrid smell of burning load leaf and that damned haze from no man's land. Jasky rolls his glow stick in his fingers 3 times before lighting up. He says it's habit. I think it's prayer. He takes one look at Rem and reaches into his kit.
You're never gonna learn, are you, knucklehead?
He removes a bandage and begins applying it to Rem's busted nose. Rem doesn't wince, even when we hear the snap pop of cartilage being pushed into place. It isn't the first time Rem's had his nose busted. It won't be the last.
Sometimes I wonder about your ox.
He says, like a doctor consoling a patient at a table.
I still think your mama was an ogre or something.
The rest of the section chuckles at the age-old joke. Jasky is our Medicaid, which is funny if you really stand to think about it for a few seconds. His accent, none of us can place it. I personally think he's an underhiver punk, but his nimble fingers have saved my life more than once, so I don't give him grief about it. Rem snorts, then he winces as the pain from the sergeant's lesson reminds him of his broken nose.
Don't move, you slab of a head, ox. You sneeze and I'll bust something else.
Rem remains still as Jasky tightens the bandage and ties it off.
There. Won't do nothing for your looks, but then again.
The section leans in, myself included, waiting for the inevitable punchline.
When your face looks like an orc, you can't do nothing but improve it. Yeah.
The entire section bursts out laughing, despite all the chaos around us and the never-ending work that is the life of a guardsman. We laugh like a bunch of toddlers. Rem, who should be used to it by now, flushes deeply, but in mere moments he too is guffawing like the rest of us. He needs the relief. Emperor, we all do.
What in the name of the Holy Emperor's divine arse upon the golden throne are all of you doing?
How does he do it? How does that little monster know to appear when our guard is most down? 16 pairs of eyes and not a single one of us spotted him. Carking Sergeant Kaster Yaslo.
Now where the hell did he come from?
The sergeant's eyes flash and he looks in Jasky's direction. Superhearing, that one. Never misses a beat. Even if Jasky muttered it under his breath, which he did. By the grace of the soldier's mercy, Jasky gets off easy, and the old monster doesn't acknowledge his blunder.
Get up, all of you! I didn't raise a bunch of quitters.
His hand strikes out like a missile and snatches the low stick from Jasky's mouth. While the Sarge was focused on him, the other smokers in the group quickly hid theirs. He takes it, crushes the burning tip between his finger and thumb, and drops it to the ground.
I'm going to pretend I didn't see that. Don't want the commissar coming over here and shooting your stupid carking self on account of some grok shit contraband.
He finishes the point by grinding the stick under the heel of his combat boot. He places a hand on his hips and looks around.
Well, what are you staring at? Keep those ugly mouths of yours open and you're likely to eat snow.
When we don't immediately respond, his face hardens.
Get your asses back to damn work!
That does the trick, and the section scrambles to positions. I take my place on the wooden platform, resting my gun on the sandbags, staring out into no man's land. I feel a presence next to me as Jasky takes his spot, placing his weapon on the edge and blatantly flirting with death by proving his elbow upon the sandbags.
Carkin Kaster, Yaslo.
I look around quickly, as if merely saying or having heard his name aloud will summon him.
The old man needs to lay off. One smoke won't kill me. It will later, but not right now, eh?
His eyes meet mine, and I look away, my own scanning the desolation. I take a deep breath and let it out slowly. You keep testing him like that, and you're gonna end up like Ox. Jasky laughs like he always does. He's an easygoing kind of guy, and I have to respect him for that. But he's also a smart ass.
What's old man Yaslo gonna do? Gonna die anyways. What's the matter if it kills me now?
Oh, you carking idiot, I mutter under my breath. And before I can stop myself, I tap my chest twice in the shape of the Aquila. Superstition, habit, whatever it is, I ain't taking chances. I stare down the sights of my weapon, my mind envisioning movement in the twitch of every skeletal tree or twisting shadow. Then, I see it. Bright flashes of white light, followed by what sounds like distant thunder. My body acts before my brain, and I crash down to the frozen dirt, the breath driven from my lungs. My ears pick up the noise of something fast, creating a shrill whistle in the air. Then my world is turned upside down. The ground shakes as multiple shells land, sending up plumes of frozen dirt and debris. Explosions sound all around me, and soon all I can see is devastation. All I can feel is fire. Blast waves of close impacts roll over me. I hear the zip of compressed air as shards of lethal shrapnel fly about me in all directions. I try to stand, but the unsteady ground knocks me back down. I try to breathe, but all I inhale is grit and dust and something faintly metallic. My mind knows what it is, but my body does not allow me to register the taste of it. The smell of discharged gunpowder and promethium fills the air, mixing with the noxious stink of no man's land. It sticks to the back of my throat, filling my lungs. It's all I'll taste for the next several days. I try to steady my rifle, but my hands won't stop shaking. I can't tell if it's fear or if my body's still catching up to the blast. Doesn't carking matter. I need to move. I look around for Jasky. I find him. I don't like what I see. He's there. He's alive, but he's not Jasky. He's locked up, curled on the ground, hugging his knees. His eyes are unfocused and blank. I rush over to him, checking him over. He isn't wounded. I don't know what to do. I grab his shoulders and lift him up, shaking him violently. Jasky, carking snap out of it, I shout in his face. It doesn't register. I don't know what else I can do. In pure panic and desperation, I slap him across the face. For a moment, I see the old Jasky there, but he's somehow distant. He isn't locked up anymore, but he's still not there.
The sky.
His voice is distant, quiet, confused, even weak. I don't know how to respond. Jasky is more than another trooper. He's my brother, and you don't leave family behind. I don't have the strength for a proper carry, so I do the only thing I can. I grab Jasky's collar and haul him onto my back. His arm dangles over my shoulder, his feet dragging behind me as I pull him forward. Every step is a war against my own body. Don't worry, Jasky. I'll get you to the bunker. Don't know if he can hear me, wherever he's at. Doesn't matter. What matters is that I'm here for him now. God, Emperor, I know you're a busy fellow, but if you could see your way to helping Jasky, I'd appreciate that. If a miracle were to happen, it needed to happen now. I'd gladly trade my life if it meant Jasky, happy, laughing Jasky, were to live. I will my leaden feet to move forward. My body turned to mush by the bombardment, combined with my kid, Jasky's kid, and his dead weight threatened to pull me down. I know if I drop, I'll not get back up. Jasky and I will die if that happens. I won't allow that. Remember that time you beat me at cards, Jasky? You cheated. You bastard. When we get out of this, I'm taking my money back. Jasky doesn't respond. He's still distant, off in whatever place this hell has sent his mind to. Out of the corner of my vision, I see it. Another series of flashes, another wave of incoming. Then it clicks. I know what this is, and it terrifies me. It's a tactic I've heard of but never seen. As the shells scream overhead, I shout, my voice raw and aching. Creeping bombardment! Get your roots dead! I lunge forward, twisting in the air so I land on top of Jasky. The impacts are terrible, somehow worse than before. Maybe it's because Jasky is here. Maybe it's because I can't defend myself from the carking artillery shell. Regardless, I need to keep moving. I grab Jasky by his collar and drag myself forward. My movements are slow and steady. I don't feel the explosions around me or the sting of shrapnel cut across my cheek. It's just me and Jasky. The rest doesn't matter. I slowly make my way, dragging Jasky behind me. Suddenly, the force of a blast lifts both of us up. I'm taken off my feet. My grip on his uniform slackens, but by grit alone I hold on. There'd been someone in front of me. They'd taken the brunt of the blast. Been there 1 second, gone the next. Now that poor sod is little more than paste and ribbons of dead meat. Though it shames me to admit it, better him than me. The force of the blast lands me hard on my back. I grunt with pain as I feel something snap. My breathing becomes harder. It's not just the grit in my lungs anymore. There's a sharp pain when I breathe in, like someone is jabbing my lung with something pointy. My vision fades and the world seems muted. I feel dizzy, then everything returns with sudden, overwhelming clarity. I draw in a breath, though it pains me. Instinct is an arse sometimes. My ears ring and I slap the side of my head in an attempt to get my eyeballs orientated. The ringing fades and I hear everything. My mind works in overdrive, trying to process it all at once. The screaming, the blood, the shells raining hell down upon us. It's just all so much. Eventually things slow down enough for me to get a grip on my senses. I look around, remembering why I was here. The enemy didn't matter at the moment. I needed to find Jasky. Fortunately, he didn't land far. Crawling over to him, I pat his body down, checking for injuries. That vacant stare is still there, almost as if he hasn't noticed that we nearly got blown to pieces. Those ghostly eyes make contact with my own and I shudder.
The sky is red.
He seems to mutter. His words make no sense.
The sun is blue.
He's almost like a child now, barely even aware of what's around him.
son.
I shake my head and grab his collar, pulling him along once more. Yeah, Jeski, sure is, mate. That's all I can manage to say. If I can keep him talking, maybe I won't lose what's left of him. Finally, after what seems like forever, I reach the bunker. Members of my section, survivors really, rush forward and take Jeski from me. I feel lighter. The relief washing over me is sudden and overwhelming. I feel hands tuck under my arms as I'm dragged inside what may end up being a ferrocrete coffin. The weight of duty lessens slightly, and I feel hot tears running down the side of my dirt-encrusted face. My task is done, but the enemy is still coming. The bombardment is first. The flesh always follows. A guardsman's job is never done. The air inside is thick, stale, filled with sweat, smoke, and something sour. It doesn't smell like safety. It smells like fear. I try to speak, to tell them about Jeski, about the barrage, about the poor bastard who took the blast for me. But the words don't come. What's the point? They already know. One of them flinches when he sees Jeski's face. Another avoids looking at him completely. No one says a word. I collapse inside the pillbox, breathing hard as my section scrambles to man the heavy stubbers mounted in the embrasures. Outside, the bombardment fades, but that only means the real fight is about to begin. Quickly I look for faces I recognise. Krem, the lucky stupid bastard, is there. His eyes are intense. He's like a coiled spring, ready to fight, ready to pay them back for the bombardment. He knows what's coming, just like I do. It's not the faces that are present that bother me. It's the ones that are absent. Men and women I'd only talked to moments ago. People whose voices are now little more than a fading memory. Human beings with hopes and dreams, reduced to little more than target practice by a cannon more than a dozen miles away. I shake my head, desperate to kick the melancholy out from within my skull. No matter what I try though, it sticks. The tears keep coming and I can't stop them. I bite my lip. I may cry, but I will not sob. I'm lost, starting to fall the same way my friend did. Jeski, is this what you're going through right now? God Emperor, don't let that be me. But my sorrow is abruptly ended by rough hands grasping my uniform and pulling me to my feet. I hear shouting, but it's distant. I latch onto it like a lifeline, pulling it as if my very soul depended on it. Then it happens. Reality crashes back into me, and I'm staring at the Sarge right in the face. I catch the tail end of a string of insults and obscenities. He doesn't let go. He won't let me fall.
Pull yourself together, you Emperor twice damned worthless maggot!
His grip steadies me, and I swallow my fear, pushing my guilt aside. I can feel his anger seeping into me. He's almost untouched. His uniform is dirty and torn. His face is muddied and his skin is marred and bruised. However, his demeanour has not changed. Carking invincible Sergeant Kaster Yaslo indeed, Jeski. Carking invincible, untouchable, irredeemable bastard of a man. But Emperor be damned, I'll kill for this little monster. The Sarge sees me pull back from the brink. He knows how close I came to becoming one of the lost. I know it too, but I don't dwell on it. His fury shifts from me to the enemy outside. Are my eyes deceiving me, or is that relief in his eyes? Was that a thrown-damned smile? Nah, that's not possible. Sergeants don't have emotions. All they are is grit, anger, and dogged, stubborn determination. He pushes my lasgun into my hands and gestures toward the embrasure.
If you're done being sorry for yourself, go cover that oaf on the stubber. Shit's about to hit the fan, and it'll get worse before it gets better.
Son?
I glance at Jasky.
Son?
He's still staring at the ceiling, whispering nonsense. That could have been me, but it won't be.
Son?
I take the last gun, but my hands are still shaking. I clench my fists, force them to still. There's no time for this, not now. I quickly move to the embrasure, putting a hand on Hrem's shoulder just to let him know I'm there. All I get is a grunt, but that's all I need. Looking outside, I keep expecting a war cry, a charge, anything to indicate the enemy is approaching. That's what's supposed to follow this kind of bombardment. Then I see it. A billowing green fog, the colour of vomit, has been left out to rot in the sun for too long. It rolls forward, advancing at a steady pace. The smell hits us first, putrid beyond anything I could ever have scented in my life, like a mix of rotting, spoiled meat and putrefied vegetation. Figures start to appear in the fog, shifting, moving, limping and crawling. There is something wrong with them. Something so deeply wrong that it takes every ounce of my willpower to stifle a scream. They don't roar at us. They don't scream. They moan. A deep and unnerving sound that sends gooseflesh down my skin. They aren't natural, and they're out there in the thousands. Those things outside, they twitch and spasm, as if in the throes of some intense pleasure I don't want to understand. Their bellies are distended, their bodies covered in bruises and sores. Some are large, others are small. I can't resist any longer and turn away, hurling what remains of any rations in my stomach onto the bunker floor. Children. There are khaki children in that horde. Small boys and girls covered in the same filth as the adults, but with a gleeful expression that will never leave my mind no matter how much I pray to the God Emperor to scrub it clean.
Look at your hands.
I can hear them. They're shouting at us. I try not to listen.
Look at your skin.
But their words seep into my mind like a disease.
The gift is growing.
Some of them utter words I dare not speak aloud. The worst ones are the innocent, gleeful, pleasure-filled voices of the children.
Come, little guardsman. Come and play. Papa Nurgle is the bestest. Gifts for everyone. Gifts for all.
Soon they reach the landmines. Explosions rip through the field, tearing them apart piece by piece. Bodies and parts fly in every direction. Clouds of rotten flesh, ribbons and muscle, and chunks of bone fill the air. But they just keep marching. They don't seem to care about death. It has no hold over them. I watch in abject horror as one shouts in apparent ecstasy as he's ripped in half by shrapnel. His gleeful eyes watch on as his wounds fester, and then his entrails dragging behind him, pulls his body forward. The Sarge pushes forwards. He throws the hellspawn a one-fingered salute before shouting,
Open fire!
Hrem opens up with the stubber, white flashes of heat as each bullet erupts out of the barrel with hellish hate. The front row of monstrosities is cut down, but they just walk right over them, not a care in the world. I expect return fire, but what I get is something altogether worse. Those monstrosities, they reach into their guts and pull out chunks of decayed flesh, oozing with pus and decay. Clutching it like a grenade, they throw it across the trenches. The filth splashes against the walls and the ferrocrete actually starts to bubble, sizzle, and melt like slag. One trooper goes down screaming, his face a mess of melted tissue and exposed bone. The Sarge ends his misery by running a bayonet through his chest. We keep firing endless streams of crimson beams. They fall, but some still rise again, shouting praises to their dark god. Some of the twisted beasts actually encourage us to shoot them, glorifying in the pain and the festering wounds our weapons inflict upon them. They're only scant feet away from us now, They're so close I can see every detail. Their eyes are milky white. Many have exposed mouths in their flesh that draw pools of acidic saliva at their feet. Black and purple tongues hang out, lolling and waving around their bodies. Pustules and sores appear and pop in the next instant, releasing an odour so foul I can't even describe it. Guardsmen pull pins from crack grenades and let them fly. The muffled thump among the bodies does little to thin the herd. They're so close now. Not only can I smell them, but I can see individual expressions. Nothing but pure, blissful joy. I fire my last gun until it empties. Then I pull up my combat knife. There's nothing else I can do but wait to meet my end. I can hear Sarge shouting,
Come at me, you hellish, heretic bastards! Sergeant Yaslo has a few words for the subrats you call mothers!
He punctuates the end of each sentence with a blast from his combat shotgun. Their arms are there reaching in. I can hear them now, and it's unavoidable.
Run! Run if you can, little guardsman.
Nurgle is inevitable.
Their words are insidious, wearing down on our will like the corrosive acid leaking from their mouths. To the warp with your worthless souls, you cocky bastards! I shout as I lash out with my combat knife. The blade cuts through the forearm with sickening ease. The flesh is rotten, less solid, malleable. There's a moment, a pause, where I know I'm about to die. But then, a bright white flash fills the bunker. I hear roaring like the thrusters of a gunship, then the sound of an impact that shakes the ground. The monstrosities turn. What is so terrifying that even those that fear no death turn away? I hear a sound, a deep, resonating thump. The ground shakes slightly, the air shuddering with a noise unlike anything I've heard before. It wasn't the sharp crack of a lasgun, nor the deep percussive thump of an autocannon. It was something else, something raw, brutal, and deafening. A single shot sounded like a metal fist punching through steel, a Cthulhu that sent a shockwave through my chest, and it didn't stop there. The roar came in bursts, boom, 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 each shot following the other in a brutal, rolling thunder that drowned out the screams and the rattling gunfire around me. And the smell, Emperor preserve me, the smell. Burning propellant and scorched metal, mixed with something worse, something wet. What fresh hell was this? What had come to claim our souls? The heretics at our door, the ones climbing inside, held out their hands as if beckoning me to follow them. Then, the throaty roar of a chainsaw and the brutal sound of metal grinding flesh as a massive chainsaw tore the heretic in half. The air filled with bright orange light as jets of flame scoured flesh and bone, cleansing the filth before us. A figure loomed before me, his green plate covered in a golden aquila. The emblem of a roaring black dragon sat upon a massive shoulder pauldron. He leaned down, and my eyes met the red lenses of my saviour.
Come, guardsman. Only in death does duty end.
His voice is somehow calm, despite the destruction his godlike wrath has instilled upon the enemy. There is compassion there.
Emperor, bless me. One of the Emperor's angels.
Respect. Not just awe, but respect from the damned little monster that has been both the bane and the inspiration of my existence for so many years. The soldier's face is slack-jawed. His eyes are wide. It looks like he's about to fall on his knees in the middle of this damned battle. And what's more, the entire section seems awestruck. They're silent. Moments ago we'd been roaring our defiance as we were about to make our final stand. Now they stand like children before a mighty god, unable to move by sheer awe and reverence. I could only stand there and swallow the lump that had suddenly formed in my throat. The Emperor's angel turned and fired his weapon, the godlike power of it turning whole swathes of heretics into paste. I could feel that gun. The heat and shockwaves coming off it were so intense that it made my heart race. I gripped my last gun. All my fear was suddenly gone. Every last ounce of it. The time for retribution had come. I looked around at my section. Salvation has come! Let's get some payback! The section roars their approval, and we run out from the bunker, free from our prison at last. Our saviour roars a battle cry I don't understand.
Vulcan lives!
As he blasts his way into the thick of the horde. I see them now, more of the angels. Their wrath is a glorious sight to behold. They burn away the enemy, the infection before us. These angels, the Emperor does listen. He aids his faithful. Never have I felt his presence so strongly. My last gun is empty, but I have fixed my combat knife to it. We all charge in, getting stuck in alongside the gods in green armour. Later, after the battle, we have time to breathe and time to let it all sink in. I've never been so damn tired in my life. Every joint aches, every muscle burns. They took Jasky away. The Medicaid said something to do with shell shock, whatever that is. Poor bastard. Thing is, the guard don't suffer the weak. They'll grind us down, berate us, and hone us into weapons. But if we break beyond repair, we're worthless to them. Truth is, they'll probably put Jasky out of his misery, and some other poor sod will replace him. We'll mourn our brother, of course, but that's just how things are. The Emperor's angels? Well, that's a funny thing. They cleansed the heretics and then they were gone. They came down like thunder from heaven and delivered his divine judgment. They stuck around for a bit, spoke something to our commanders, but then they left, departing in the metal pods they'd arrived in. I'd asked around, wanting to know the names of our saviours. I think they were called salamanders. Might be wrong, but then again, it's all just a damned blur. Here's a thing, soldier. War is hell. War is insufferable. War never stops. You might die. Look to your left. Look to your right. See those men around you? Your brothers are there to hold you up. Fight to the bitter end. Die well. Only in death does duty end.